I think Shedeur Sanders' best fit is with the Las Vegas Raiders. And it's not for the typical reason that one would say for why you would want to sit a quarterback. A lot of times when you say a quarterback needs to sit, it's because they need time to learn the game more. They need to develop before going out there. I think Shedeur Sanders is able to be best set up to succeed by sitting on a team that's trying to and being aggressive to bolster their roster. You get to learn from Geno Smith. You get to get that experience on that team. And then eventually in 2 years, he takes over, or in 1 year, he takes over. I think that the Raiders, with Pete Carroll and the way that Spytek has been moving in free agency, that they'd have that ability to turn this team into a winner in a couple of years. But right now, at the current moment, they're not ready to go. Outside of that, the Browns are an awful fit for the shit show that they have with their roster and with their cap situation because of Deshaun Watson. The Giants, just talked about, are a shit show. He doesn't want to go there. I think the Raiders, out of any of these top 10 teams, are the best.
I think the Brady draw to Vegas is a big point of reason why it would work. Working with Pete Carroll and Geno Smith, it wouldn't be bad for Shedeur Sanders, who's played first fiddle about his entire life and not had many challengers to it, to play second fiddle and watch how chemistry is built with a head coach, how the head coach and quarterback operate together, to see how this system in the NFL works, where he can learn, step in, and then hopefully be dynamic Shedeur Sanders. I don't mind the Vegas pick, but I think they're too far back. The best fit actually comes to the top three. That's the New York Giants. He's built for New York. He really is.
Why, though?
He wore the New York Giants cleats. He's a massive name, massive city, media market one. He's been trained for this forever. It works. It just does. He's got a big boss top receiver in Malik Neighbors that he can count on. He's got a coach that is fighting like hell to keep his job, a GM that is completely out of his element, but is going to, I think, fight like hell to have some type of direction, save his job. We could see a full Monty push with New York. I hope we see a full Monty push with New York instead of the dead, lifeless raccoon that got creamed on the road by an Accord 2 weeks ago, and the city can't get anybody to come clean it up because the tires will just keep on crushing the raccoon in the dust, and it gets returned to earth in the concrete. That's the situation the Giants are at now. We need to get them a city service member to come clean up the mess. That's Shedeur Sanders. He comes and does that.
My problem with, and you said this, and a lot of people say this, that he's built for New York. I like Shedeur Sanders as a Giants fan. I don't want him because I don't think any of us Neanderthals have the patience to put up with what he is. Which, when he starts playing poorly, him being on podcasts and him being out there and being vocal, him being on a million advertisements, it's going to just piss everybody off. He's not meant for this. I don't think he's meant for New York.
I think he is.
I think he's meant for a West Coast market where
a friendlier market.
For me, he feels like Vegas is the much better market that would be a lot more welcoming of him. Somebody that would be more patient with him. I don't think the Giants fans would be patient with Shedeur Sanders. I absolutely do not. And I don't think Shedeur Sanders, with how inconsistent that offense is, how inconsistent the offensive line is, and how there's only one good receiver, I don't think that he'd have a great first year in New York. I think that the whole first year, everybody would be pissed off. It would be like a Bryce Young type first year where everybody would be super frustrated and annoyed, saying, great, we screwed up again. We wasted another pick on a quarterback. We're not going to get this. And then eventually in year two, he would start to do better. But it's going to screw with his head. I don't think so.
I don't want that. The city would fall in love with him. You would fall in love with him.
Look at a good example here. Colorado, he had his own following of people that followed him from Jackson State to Colorado and all that. But he had so much love and support that the minute any instance where he was criticized, Colorado fans attacked people. I mean, it happened.
You think they're going to stop at Colorado?
You don't understand what I'm getting at here. The Colorado Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders fans are not big enough and aggressive enough to deal with New York fans. They are not. Don't roll your eyes at me. You've been living here long enough. You've listened to WFAN.
Yes.
I'm telling you right now, I don't think it's a completely different world.
He might wake you guys back up again. I haven't seen much passion or energy. I haven't seen the cruel New York media market. It's kind of just been everybody floating around like, oh, yeah, we suck. Oh, well, at least not the Jets.
Because there
High five.
hasn't been anything to yell about. So the minute that
Now you got a guy.
No, but the
now you
minute
got a guy
that
that's going to make you cheer.
The minute that he steps in and starts not performing, I'm not saying I'm going to do this. I'm saying New York Giants fans are going to do this. They're going to start calling in. They're going to start complaining about DeLeone Sanders. And even though he's not even involved in the situation, they're going to bitch about everything. I want him. I am praying because of the shit show that we're in, because we played a game against the Colts that we didn't need to put any effort in, that we're in this spot, that we're sitting at 3, that we could have been picking at 1, all that crap. I'm praying that the Browns pass and don't take a quarterback, but it seems extremely unlikely. I'd love for him to be a New York Giant, but I'm praying for him and his career that he doesn't go somewhere where he already has the biggest spotlight on him, that he'd have an even bigger one. Look at how the media reacted to a rumor about him being arrogant in a meeting that was total BS. Everyone freaked out because no one had anything to talk about him during the combine.
It wasn't just the New York media that did that. That was a story everywhere.
That wasn't the New York media. That was the national media. That's my point, is that the national media turns anything that he does into a headline. Now couple that with him being in New York.
I haven't seen him flinch yet, pal. I'm
not saying he's going to flinch. I'm just saying it's not a good environment for a young man.
I think if there's any young man in this draft class that could actually thrive and be comfortable in the environment, it's him. I think he's had enough camera flashes in his face.
But we're talking about best situation for him to succeed. This is quite literally the worst situation, because it's a team that has done – you're getting drafted by a front office that is desperate, that is on their last legs and has not produced any success except for a lucky first year that was actually basically the result of David Gettleman, of all people, that produced that success, because all of his moves were the ones that were playing at their highest level.
Getty the GOAT.
No, he's not. My whole point with all of this is that you are getting placed on a franchise that has not succeeded. Why would he want to go there? No quarterback should want to be a New York Giant.
Typically, yes, I would agree. It's a disaster franchise, but he's not built for Cleveland. He's not built for Tennessee. I don't want my young quarterback in Vegas personally, and that is a shot at Vegas, directly the city. I don't think it's going to be a very welcoming, distraction-free environment that a young athlete with millions and millions of dollars would be so strong to never give into any temptation of the fun. So I don't want him going to Vegas. I want him to go into New York.
There's a lot less going on in Vegas.
Sit in the pressure cooker. Sit in it. Grow with the city. Become a fan favorite. That's what he will do. He will triple the jersey sales in New York and be beloved. I think it is an absolute. Is it a dice roll? Yes, but we're betting on a 7. It's not. We're not betting on snake eyes. We're betting on a 7 here that it'll work.
Have you been to Vegas?
No, I haven't been to Vegas.
Vegas is a lot less of it. There's only like 5 things to do in Vegas. Actually, there's 1 thing to do. There's 2 things to do in Vegas. Go golfing and stay in a casino. Those are the only 2 things that you can do in Vegas.
What about drinking?
There is a lot more distractions happening in New York City than there are in Vegas.
There's more prostitution in Las Vegas.
I don't think Shedeur Sanders needs prostitutes.
Neither do I. What, you think I think that he needs them?
No. I thought you were saying
no. Neither do I think that Shedeur Sanders needs them.
You specifically probably need one.
Give me a break. The Shedeur Sanders in Vegas, it doesn't make it. It's not New York. New York is ready to go. They're reared up. Why else would you draft Malik Neighbors? Why else would you do it?
But that's
They're a shit show.
But that's all.
Get a quarterback for the guy.
They drafted Malik Neighbors because they thought that was going to help dipshit Daniel Jones.
No, they didn't.
The fact that this was so overbaked that they didn't get rid of Daniel Jones sooner, I think increases the degree of impatience. Look, I want him to be a Giant. I am just fearful that Giants fans are not going to be receptive and welcoming as they should be.